when I was an impressionable little baby child, my mom decided she was going to teach me about the world through movies. Unfortunately, they were wildly inappropriate for my age. However, upon revisiting these titles, I realized some of them are wildly inappropriate no matter how old you are. A perfect example of this is Splash, a film directed by Ron Howard starring Tom Hanks and Lady Godiva. This is one of those manic pixie dream girl films that really just served as propaganda for unhealthy relationships. So get those flippers on and let's dive in. Our film opens with two young lads on a ferry with their parents. As in the style of Cain and Abel, one brother's a pervert and the other one's suicidal.
Ellen, sweetheart, don't you want to see Cape Cod? All right, darling, you know where we are if you change your mind.
While staring into the void, one brother is pulled in by the sweet whispers that promise to forever end his silent suffering. Unfortunately, before a baby mermaid can devour his smiling face, he's hoisted back on board. Flash forward and we see the suicidal boy, Alan, played by Tom Hanks. He's grown up and inherited the family business of supplying the world's ravenous hunger for cherries.
Where are my cherries?
Mr. McCullough, they came in, but there was a fog upstate and a highway patrol.
Where are my cherries? If I don't have my cherries in 5 minutes, you don't get your money, and you starve and you die.
It's here that we're gently reintroduced to the soothing presence that is his brother Freddie, played by John Candy.
I love this guy! Do you hear me? I love him! I love this guy's head.
After discussing business with his brother,
It's a desk. Where's always like a pigsty here? Do what I do. Throw it in the drawer. I have a sister.
Alan's girlfriend calls to break up with him over the phone as yet another woman realizes she can no longer tolerate the dark man baby he's become.
What do you mean, do I love you? Well, we met, and I, well, you moved in, didn't you? It's just that it's a very complicated thing. Hey, do you love me, huh? Well, there you go.
Later, at a co-worker's wedding, Alan is appalled by Freddie's immature business practices.
My flash never works on those figures. My mother-in-law gave it to me.
Get up. What?
This opens up the opportunity for an endearing heart-to-heart about Alan's recent breakup.
I just want to know, do we sell fruit and vegetables, or is it just fruit?
You know, by the time I came home, she was already gone.
Victoria left, huh?
Yeah. You know why she left me, Freddie? Because I didn't love her.
That bitch.
As Alan and Freddie usher people into the church, Alan begins to acknowledge that his inner void may be at fault for his trouble with women, and Freddie does his best to console him.
I can't even give her my love, Freddie. I'm telling you, something in here is not working.
There are worse organs not to be working.
After a brief and very adult tantrum,
Hey, Alan. She left me! She moved out and my life's a shambles, okay? That's the news. You want the weather? Anywhere but the first 3 rows!
Alan goes to a bar where he tries to drown out the stress of being 20-something, single, and a successful business owner with lots of friends who consider him close enough to be included in their wedding ceremony. It's here that Alan finally gives us a little insight into what he wants out of life with all the charm and optimism that we can expect from this character.
Do I expect too much out of life?
My dress? I can't believe this.
I'm sorry.
Hey.
I just want to meet a woman. I want to meet a woman, and I want to fall in love, and I want to get married, and I want to have a kid, and I want to go see him play a tooth in the school play.
In this compromised state of inebriation, he decides to give in to the siren's call and takes a short and sensible 300-mile taxi ride to Cape Cod.
Okay, Cape Cod, that's about 300 miles. You got the cash?
What is this?
While walking on the beach, he happens upon a legitimate science expedition. Having been dropped off on the other end of the island, he asks if he can get a ride to the other side, but the scientist, played by Eugene Levy, is suspicious of him.
What is all this stuff?
Knew it. Who sent you up here?
Dr. Ross from Chicago? You're very good. I suppose you're just some harmless beachcomber who happens to wear a tuxedo.
After finding a very reliable seafarer who can take him across, we learn that Alan is terrified of the ocean as he never learned to swim. The captain, known to us as Fat Jack, handles this information with the utmost delicacy and professionalism.
And you wouldn't want me to do this?
Unfortunately, Unfortunately, his attempts at calming Alan's nerves result in water flooding the engine, and Fat Jack handles the matter with the same grace as before.
I'll go back for the other boat.
What?
As Alan awaits Fat Jack's return, we catch another glimpse of the research team and are shown that all of our characters seem to share the same glowing charisma that makes this film unforgettable.
That's pee down in their holes.
Alas, 5 minutes is too long a wait for Alan, who has nowhere else to be, and he takes it upon himself to fix the boat engine he knows nothing about. But while he takes a celebratory swim, the boat strikes him during its own victory lap, and he sinks into the very waters that lulled him into their gaping maw as a child. But before he can sink to his doom, he's rescued and loses his wallet in the process. He wakes up on a beach where he's immediately attracted to a woman 20 feet away. And upon her emergence from the bushes, he's only further captivated by her personality. After briefly assaulting him, she swims away, and we get a glimpse of the impressive acting skills that landed Hanks the role.
Oh, why didn't I learn how to swim? Please, just...
After this, we get a brief hint that his rescuer was the same mermaid who tried to eat his face as a child. The charm of this little nod to the character's secret is absolutely not made completely meaningless by a full-blown scene of Daryl Hannah doing her best Ariel impression as she swims down to steal Alan's wallet. As she swims off with it, she's met by our very professional scientist from before, who fails to get a photo of her absconding with the wallet for the authorities. She then reasonably cross-references Alan's ID with a map on an old shipwreck and sets off for the grift of a lifetime. But first, some sightseeing.
Welcome to the Statue of Liberty. The statue is a gift from French citizens and has come to symbolize hope for naked women everywhere. Bocce balls!
Her lack of cultural garb gets her noticed by the police, and she's swiftly taken away.
This ain't California. We don't go for this stuff. Come on.
Being an experienced grifter, our mermaid knows better than to talk when questioned about the wallet, and the police call Alan, who is desperate to get it back.
Alan Bauer. Yeah, speaking.
Yeah, I'm away!
Before Alan can question her about the theft, she again distracts him with enchanting conversation.
Hi.
He takes the stranger back to his apartment where they get to know each other better with more of the same playful and engaging banter that really helps flesh out these characters. Ever the workaholic, Alan leaves his new friend whose name he doesn't know alone in his apartment, but it's okay because he leaves the TV on for her like he would for a beloved dog.
I've got to get back to work. That'll keep you company while I'm gone.
This goes to show what a very good business owner Alan is, because he wouldn't have left this lonely stranger in his apartment if he wasn't very busy.
You want to check him out?
No, you check them. You check them. You know the business, Freddie.
Well, what about the lawyers' meeting tonight at 8?
8? 8 p.m.? No, that's too late for me, Fred. I'm going to go upstairs to the office. I'm going to take a nap. You wake me when it's time to go home.
But the TV proves a poor babysitter, and the grift begins as she heads to the department store with the wallet Alan didn't take to work with him.
Bloomingdale's?
Oh, sure. Hey!
Luckily, Luckily, she finds a kindly and healthy-minded saleswoman who doesn't ask for identification or signatures to help her spend his money.
You want to try that on? It isn't me. I couldn't get one leg in there. My daughter, on the other hand, is lucky. She's anorexic.
Alan returns after a long nap at work to find his mysterious friend is missing. Worried that she might again be persecuted for her cultural differences, he rushes off to find her.
Hello?
When Alan finds her, she's quick to impress him with what she learned from television and finally tells him her name in a voice you'd expect from such an enchanting siren.
Thank you for letting me use your television. It was very educational.
What's your name?
My name is...
Now that she can speak his language, Alan starts asking important questions that he doesn't actually want the answers to.
Who are you? Where are you from?
Pretty!
Are you from Cape Cod?
No, I'm from another place.
I got a cousin from there.
She evades his questions with her best Jack Skellington impression, that we know must be an impression because she's already seen Cars and Signs earlier in the day.
You never heard music?
What's that? What's that?
It's a movie theater!
At last, reveals that she can only stay for 6 days until the moon is full, and Alan accepts her strange answer, knowing that he probably wouldn't want company around longer than that anyway. Shortly after this, Alan asks her for a name in English he can call her, and she gives him a ridiculous suggestion.
See, names. Linda, Kim, where are we? Madison. Elizabeth,
Madison.
Samantha.
Madison, I like Madison.
Well, Madison's not a name.
Later that night, Madison grabs the hall salt and sneaks into the bathroom to have private mermaid time. But her quiet bath wakes Alan, and he fears the person he met yesterday can't be trusted with his water, even after getting to know her so well.
Madison? Madison?
Alan?
Yeah, of course, it's Alan. What are you doing, sweetheart?
Taking a bath?
Ooh. Can I come in?
No!
What was that? Madison, are you all right?
Everything's fine.
Well, then let me in.
I'll be right there. I'm just changing.
Enough is enough, Madison. Come on, open the door. Something is wrong.
Alan, can you make me some pancakes?
Make you some... Madison! All right, Madison, this is getting scary. You either open up this door or I'm gonna break it down.
No, Alan, please.
All right, that's it.
Alan, no!
She hides her secret, offering an excuse he reluctantly accepts.
Well, why wouldn't you let me in?
I was shy.
You were shy? After the car and the elevator and the bedroom and on top of the refrigerator, you were shy?
I was shy.
She was shy.
Before I can keep going, I have an embarrassing confession to make. This moment in the film legitimately traumatized me as a child to the point where I developed a phobia of people hearing me urinate that lasted until I was 18 years old. He didn't know why she was bathing. She might have had an accident or a women's health issue from all their conversations. Which, by the way, who whoopsie-doodles on top of a refrigerator? Either way, he had no right to barge in on her if she wanted to be alone in the bathroom, especially since it seemed like he just wanted to talk more. Further, I find it hard to believe that he suddenly thought she was capable of such scary things. If I were there, I would have to ask why, Alan? Why now? Why not when you left her in your apartment for the entire workday before you even knew her name? Or to use one of your fond memories, why weren't you curious about that stuff when you were on top of the refrigerator? When I think someone might be scary, I sure don't leave them alone in my private places. We then check in on our scientist again as he finds out the thieving mermaid that he tried to stop has been stirring up trouble in New York.
Take me back to shore, now!
Meanwhile, Alan gives Madison a very adult present to make up for the night before. This segues into a date where he rightfully feels the need to explain his absurd taste in art, and Madison nearly exposes her secret.
You like that?
Yeah, I do.
I don't know why, really. Just, something about it. It's always appealed to me.
When I was about 8 years old, I had this accident on a ship, and...
I remember.
What?
I forget the words. What's the, I understand.
Afterwards, he's so moved by her wanting to return to his apartment that they share a looped slow-motion kiss. This makes Alan think that Madison isn't scary after all, and he leaves her at his home alone again to go meet his brother in a locker room where Freddie reacts reasonably to Alan wanting to take Madison to a presidential dinner instead of him.
Would you mind if I took Madison to this thing instead of going with you?
There goes! Yeah! Bone crusher! Yeah!
They decide to hash out their squabbles through sports, and Freddie offers up some answers to all his brother's questions.
She's on an ocean liner in the middle of international waters, and she sees America, looks good, so she greases her body up like a channel swimmer. She dives in, she goes through some sharks, has some heavy trouble there, goes through the Coast Guard, through some minefields, and then she's on shore. She's okay, see?
But Alan doesn't think his brother is a credible source.
Freddie, you took a date to one of your own weddings.
When Alan comes home from his brief brother's sports time, he's overwhelmed to find that Madison thoughtfully and easily purchased and transported the small fountain he liked into his bedroom.
Alan, you're here!
Hey,
I got you a present.
What? Wait.
Okay, look.
Knowing she didn't have his wallet anymore, he asks how she paid for everything, and she explains how necklace bartering is the new hot currency exchange.
Madison, where's your necklace?
Traded it for the statue.
Why?
Because I love you.
Though the Void attempts to keep him from being able to reciprocate her feelings, her sacrifice of her only precious item for his sake overwhelms his emptiness, and he is finally able to love her.
Madison, I love this present. And I love you.
Next, we catch up with our scientist again as he tries to convince the scientific community to help him take down the finned pickpocket.
This is what we came to hear?
His mentor gives him a great idea on how to reveal her for the lying grifter she really is.
You gonna get her wet so everybody sees she has fins?
He uses the very detailed news headline he found earlier to easily track her down in the sparsely populated city. But she gives him the slip, and an innocent woman is devastated to have garment-ruining salt water splashed on her clothes. Her husband has a word with him while a hand from Monty Python holds his camera.
Oh, my.
On a different day, Madison and Alan are on a date where they discuss her having to leave the country, but when marriage is brought up, she distracts him with a cool trick.
Married, like an American. And then they have to let you stay.
Our food is here.
Well, guess we'll talk about it later.
Alan broaches marriage again and is confused as to why she feels she can't trust him with her reason for refusing.
Madison, would you marry me?
All right, Madison, this is getting scary. You either open up this door or I'm gonna break it down.
No, I can't.
Why?
All right, Madison, this is getting scary. You either open up this door or I'm gonna break it down.
Look, I know you have some big secret that you think you can't tell me, but you can't.
All right, Madison, this is getting scary. You either open up this door...
Well, you're dying, you were once a man, whatever it is, I don't care, you can tell me.
Alan.
All right, Madison, this is getting scary.
Out of cool tricks, Madison hopes a game of tag will keep Alan from being such a nosy Nelson, but the rink attendant ruins everything when he tries to join in on the fun.
They don't have ice, and they don't have music, and they don't have clothes.
Just what kind of a place is this, Madison? Madison! Madison! Okay, Madison!
After winning the game, Madison gives Alan the meager consolation prize of her hand in marriage, but Alan calmly remembers they need a blood test in New York before wedding.
Yes.
Our blood test today. We can be married as early as tomorrow. See, if we get the blood test today, no pressure, mind you, but if we get the blood test today.
As they return home, we see our scientist has fallen on hard times in his dogged attempt to reveal her as a fishy pickpocket.
We're married too.
Unfortunately, he douses the same hydrophobic woman and her husband again, but it's alright since the water in the fire hose was salt-free and wouldn't have worked anyway. As it happens, Alan and Madison weren't in the elevator because they decided to get married in Maryland that night where they don't need crummy old blood tests. Unfortunately, Alan remembers he has a minor previous engagement.
So we are getting married tonight.
Freddie always gets married in Maryland. You don't need a blood test down there. Oh, there's this dinner with the president. Damn.
Here we find that our scientist managed to snag a sweet spot on the catering team, which helps him blend in so he can close in on the thieving mermaid. The Secret Service find his hump unbecoming, though, and escort him out while the president tells another infamously bad joke.
He's reaching. Get him now, get him now.
Well, I guess he just found out what his dinner cost.
Madison is disturbed by the president's tasteless humor and leaves with Alan, causing them to cross paths with the scientist, allowing him to finally reveal her secret.
Don't let him shoot that thing! Is that a gun? Let him shoot it! Hold it! Behold the mermaid!
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Flash forward to a lab where Alan and Madison have been taken to better understand the cultural differences between land and sea humans.
I am not a fish!
It's here that Alan proves to Madison that she could have trusted him with her secret all along.
Alan.
Seeing that Alan is an unimpressive land human, they let him go home where reporters are waiting with hard-hitting questions.
Is it true that she's also seeing Burt Reynolds?
Freddie comes to whisk him away and delicately handles Alan's reputation at work.
Yeah! Get me out of here! Is anyone here from Penthouse Magazine? No. Then we ain't talking. What are you looking at? You never saw a guy who slept with a fish before? Get back to work!
Back at the lab, our legitimate scientist is given a new task.
Run along now, Walter, and see if you can't find a unicorn.
But nothing compares to the importance of oral hygiene, and it's while he's in the dentist chair that Alan logically tracks him down to talk about fair sentencing.
Get out. I've been on the phone to every employee of the United States government, calling them sons of bitches. Nobody can even get in to see her.
Alan's new scientist friend takes him and Freddie to the public museum where Madison is secretly being held in the basement by the government. They get through security by impressing the bilingual guard with some normal fun facts.
Vad gör en svensk vetenskapsman så långt väg från Sverige?
Hey, Raring. Jag hör en turf en Tums penis. Ah.
After getting to confront Madison about his wallet, Alan hatches a foolproof plan to smuggle her out so she can show him where she hid it, while Freddie stays behind to distract the government with fishing lessons.
What's going on in there? What happened? Dr. Johansson bent down to examine her, and suddenly these rays came right out of her eyes.
Hiya, boys. Come on in. The water's fine.
The army goes after them, hoping she'll lead them to a bigger stash of stolen goods. During the chase, Dr. Kornbluth remembers that he never finished his dentist appointment and must get out of the car immediately. Before he leaves, Madison finally confesses her love for this paragon of justice and leader of the scientific community. But Dr. Kornbluth rebuffs her advances, knowing that a criminal of her caliber can never be trusted.
Now I'm gonna finish it. Get the hell out of here.
Alan and Madison finally get to the ocean, where she reveals that she was the baby mermaid who promised to deliver him to the sweet darkness of the watery void all those years ago, and informs him of his new opportunity to leave this world once and for all.
Remember when you were 8 years old and you fell off the ship? You were safe under the water, weren't you? You were with me.
You mean that was you?
With the void calling, Alan gracefully dives in. The army tries to stop Madison from taking Alan into the abyss, but they are no match for the power of her tail and his teeth. Finally safe from the surface dwellers, Madison brings Alan to her underwater city that surely pales in comparison to the beauty of New York City's street signs and taxis, her grift finally coming to an end.
Love came for me.
And that's the best thing about this movie, the ending, because it's over. I have a lot of complaints about this film. Most of the screen time is spent watching Madison and Alan make kissy face, and the story is lacking in substance. What do we learn about any of the characters other than whether or not they can win staring contests, or how many languages they can say penis in? The relationship between Alan and Madison is supposed to be romantic, but it was petty and immature. I have to wonder how that will develop. Will Alan realize he didn't think things through when he can't communicate with the other mermaids, or remember he can't swim? Who knows? But that was Splash, a terrible movie that romanticizes grifting and poor hosting etiquette. I hope you enjoyed my review as much as I didn't enjoy this film.
Well, what about the bathtub?